All right, what are some of Georgia's biggest question marks heading into the spring of 2024? As good as Georgia is, they're not a perfect team, and there are some little holes here and there on the offense and defense that I think if they want to win a national championship next year, they need to address. And there are some questions that we need answered if we truly believe that this Georgia team could win another national championship. I think they could, but let's talk about where they could get better in the spring and summer. Okay, first on offense, they've got their quarterback, Carson Beck, returning starter. You're good there, right? Check. At running back, I think the biggest question there is who's going to be the number 2? You brought Trevor Etienne in from Florida, an experienced veteran player who's been very productive so far in his career, 200 pounds, breaks tackles, can catch out of the backfield. This is a guy who can do a lot for you. They brought him in for a reason. He's going to be the RB1. But who's behind him? Is it a healthy Branson Robinson? I think if he's 100%, it could be him. Duke could be a game changer next year if he is healthy. You've got Roderick Robinson, who was running through guys last year, especially towards the end of the year and in that Orange Bowl. You've got Andrew Paul. You've got some young, talented, hungry backs that are really interesting and guys who I think could play in year one, especially Nate Frazier. But who's the running back number 2, right? That's what we kind of need to figure out. But Trevor Etienne is your 1, and I do think a healthy Branson Robinson is probably your number 2 back, but we'll see where it goes from there. But that's one question mark I have about the running back room. And do they have enough guys who can catch the ball out of the backfield? We know Trevor Etienne can do it, but who can come in and be an X factor, a third down back who can hurt defenses in a number of different ways? They have guys who are 200 plus pounds, right? They've got several bowling ball type of running backs. Outside of the incoming freshman, Dwight Phillips, they don't have a home run hitter. They don't have a back with elite speed. That's another question I have about the running back room. At wide receiver, I think they go 7 deep. The biggest question mark there is there a go-to guy? Is there a clear number 1, or is this a situation where Carson's just going to the guy who's the most open, the safest route, or the guy who's really the number 1, receiver, the number 1 route on the play? But Dom Lovett's very good. Ra Thomas, Dylan Bell, Colby Young, London Humphreys, some of the younger backs, Anthony Evans. There's a lot to work with in that wide receiver room. So it's very deep, it's talented, but do they have an alpha? Do they have a guy who's clearly number 1? And then there's several other really good pass catchers behind them, right? Do they have a number 1? Will a true number 1 go-to guy emerge? That's what I want to find out this spring if that happens. It might not, but I think it would be, I don't want to say important, but they could use a guy who steps up and says, you know what, I'm the number 1 guy. I'm the top guy. Big 4th down, big 3rd down, game on the line. I want the ball. We'll see if one of those guys emerge. On the offensive line, the only question mark is at center. Jared Wilson. I think he could be a really good center, but he's replacing Cedric Van Pran, the best Georgia Bulldogs center of all time. I have no problem saying that. Will he fill those shoes the exact same way? Probably not. But can he get the job done and be a true, reliable center for what could be the best offensive line in college football? I think he's good enough. At tackle, you got Ernest Green. On the left side, he's a returning starter, will be year 3 with a big year. He's a guy who could hear his name in the first round next year. At right tackle, Xavier Truss, Monroe Freeling, someone else, right? I think those 2 are probably the guys that you would say are battling out for that right tackle job. At right guard, you've got Tate Ratledge. At left guard, Micah Morris, Dylan Fairchild. Maybe that's Xavier Truss if Monroe Freeling wins the right tackle job. There's a lot of opportunity there, but overall is a very deep, very talented offensive line, and it could be one of the best in college football. Little question mark at center, but I think that question could be resolved with Jared Wilson winning that job and showing that, hey, I can do this. I can be the center at the University of Georgia. It's a big deal, a lot of pressure, but I'm the guy who can get it done. At tight end, just seeing those guys develop, whether it's Oscar Delp, the kid from Stanford. I'm not going to try to butcher his last name. I don't have it perfected just yet. Lawson Lucky, Pierce Sperlin, the two incoming freshmen, I think are looking to see the field early. So especially Jaden Riddell, who's just an absolute freak, could be the next great pass-catching tight end at Georgia. But the development of Oscar Dell from year 2 to year 3, he's going to have more opportunities to catch passes. He's, I think, going to be tight end number 1, even though the kid from Stanford coming in has a lot of experience, and he can do a lot of things for you. He can block. He can catch the ball. It's a deep room. Could be one of the best rooms in college football again. But it'll be interesting to see how they improve this offseason. Defensively, someone's got to step up in the middle. Jamal Jarrett, Jordan Hall, anyone. Kristen Miller could have a breakout year. Someone in the middle, preferably someone like 320, can man the middle, take on those double teams, close those running lanes, and occasionally get after the quarterback. They don't have a Devonta Wyatt or Jordan Davis right now. Right now, they could in 6 months. They could in 12 months. They could have someone emerge like that and be that type of an impact defender halfway through the season. Someone needs to emerge because they need a monster in the middle of this defensive line if they want to be the best that they can be. Got to have someone in there who can create havoc and create penetration and pressure from the inside. That just creates craziness for any offense. If you got a guy in the middle who can not get moved backwards or to the side, right? A guy who can just hold his own, stay put right there and clog those running lanes. So who's going to emerge there? There's a few candidates. I think Jordan Hall could be that Jalen Carter type. I think Jamal Jarrett could be a Jordan Davis type, but they've got to get better. We'll see if they do that in the next six or so months. At inside linebacker, you've got Small Munden, and then you would think C.J. Allen, a freshman who had a really good year last year, who came in and played more in the absence of Jamon Dumas-Johnson. SEC freshman defender of the week against Ole Miss, against Georgia Tech, started against Florida State, as did Raylan Wilson, another guy who is looking to find one of those starting roles at inside linebacker. So we'll see what other name emerges. Probably going to be C.J. Allen, but he's got guys behind him who are very hungry too. Raylan Wilson, Troy Bowles, who might get a look at some defensive back. But Justin Williams, Chris Cole, 2 incoming freshmen who were 2 of the best across the country. Someone's going to have to emerge and be that guy next to Small Munden. Right now, the betting favorite is C.J. Allen, but you never really know until that first game of the season. At outside linebacker, who's that dominant pass rusher? Is it Damon Wilson? Is it Sam Pemba? Is it Gabe Harris? Someone's got to tap Chaz Chambliss on the shoulder and be like, hey, I'm the number 1 pass rusher on this team. I know you're the old guy in the room at outside linebacker, right? But I'm a natural. I'm a pass rushing monster. Let me do my thing. Michael Williams, I think, could play more of that outside linebacker role as, opposed to him putting his hand in the ground and getting off that way. He's got all the talent in the world. Former 5-star for a reason, has close to 10 sacks already in his career. We'll see if they want him rushing the passer standing up or with his hand in the ground. But someone has to emerge as that Jarvis Jones type, Leonard Floyd, Azeez Ojulari, pass rushing machine who is just a quarterback's nightmare on third down. They need that type of guy. Maybe he's on the roster. He probably is. But that guy needs to emerge and get it done and get to the quarterback. Because I do think that's something that will help them, win a national titles if you have that guy who is just a menace on third down. In the secondary, of course, you've got Dalen Everett, starting cornerback. Someone else has to emerge, whether it's Daniel Harris, Julian Humphrey, Chris Peel, someone else. Ellis Robinson, the freshman. It'll be interesting to watch that cornerback position. Safety as well, Janelle Aguero. Is a safety they're very high on. He could play next to Malachi Starks. Or if it's KJ Bolden or DeMello Jones, someone's going to get a real look there. Maybe it's another addition from the transfer portal. We'll have to see. But that star position too, that 5th defensive back, who's going to win that job? That's a question mark too. I think it's up for grabs. DJ Daniel, 4th year. You don't want, if someone passes him, he needs to hit the portal and bounce if he wants to play next year. In his 4th year, he's got a lot of talented guys behind him ready to take his spot. He needs to say, no, I've been here, I've waited my turn, now this is my job, and I'm going to get the job done. But there are several spots in the secondary that I think are up for grabs. That's a question mark. There's no doubt about it. The secondary could be very good, but right now it's incomplete, and they need some of these guys who are in a position to earn a starting role to step their game up and be that type of guy who not only wins the job, but secures it and shows the world, the college football world, hey, I'm here to play. I'm this next great Georgia defensive back. Someone's got to get that done. But those are just a few question marks I have about the team. There aren't many. This is a very good team, probably the best team in the country, but they're not perfect. And there are some, positions on the team where they need to get better at, and I think they will this spring and summer. Thanks for watching. What do you think? What do you think are some of the question marks on this team heading into the spring? Let me know in the comment section below. You can sign up to Dawg Post, signing up to our free newsletter. That link is right down below. It's free to sign up, free to read the free stories on the site. So hope you enjoyed the video. Hope to see you on the website.